In this video, we'll define what it means to be a narcissist and look at some of the things toxic narcissists say to INFJs. Could INFJs be more prone to attracting toxic people than others? It may appear strange that someone with one of the most authentic personality types would end up with someone who's inauthentic and superficially charming. You can fall victim to a toxic person such as a malignant narcissist or a sociopath, regardless of your personality type. Toxic people lack empathy and have excessive sense of entitlement, a false sense of superiority, and a proclivity to be interpersonally exploitative for personal gain. You've probably met at least one toxic person in your life, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, an INFJ or not. Not all INFJs will become narcissistic targets, but here are 5 reasons why so many do. Number 5. INFJs are looking for the ultimate relationship. Idealists are INFJs. They value the few people who are invited into their private inner world. When INFJs are looking for the perfect relationship, their heart is in the right place. They only want what they know deep down they deserve, someone who accepts and respects them for who they are. An INFJ may initially perceive the narcissist's love bombing, a period of excessive idealization and grooming that the narcissist subjects a victim to, as the ultimate high of a perfect relationship. The INFJ finally receives the affection, adoration, and attention they deserve. INFJs who enjoy words may be initially enchanted by the narcissist's flattery. They, like any other personality type, can fall victim to the toxic person's false mask of apparent vulnerability and innocent admiration. However, once an INFJ has learned all of these charlatans' tricks and tools, they can tell the difference between genuine interest and an inauthentic agenda. Number 4. Narcissists turn a conversation into a monologue. Narcissists are incapable of empathizing with others. Accept them to be unconcerned about your bad day or something good that happened to you. Any attempt to converse with a narcissist will usually result in a one-sided monologue that they will dominate. This is especially noticeable when an INFJ tells them about something good that has happened to them. Rest assured they'll find a way to bring up something even more interesting about their lives. They require a topper. For example, if an INFJ tells them that they just ran their first 5K, they will tell you they have run multiple marathons. Don't be surprised if the narcissist simply goes silent when they can't find something better to challenge you with. Take it as a minor victory and walk away. When they run out of ways to dominate a conversation, they frequently end it quickly. Number 3. INFJs have a strong desire to fix others. Compassion is a huge strength for this sensitive personality type. However, INFJs can sometimes go beyond simply assisting others and acting as a catalyst for their own growth. Instead, they attempt to fix a toxic person who refuses to accept responsibility for their own healing. Please know that this is not your fault if you're an INFJ who has been emotionally abused by narcissistic parents or a toxic partner. Your sensitivity and empathy may have been exploited by a toxic person, but they remain some of your most valuable gifts to the world. It simply means that you should be more selective with your empathy, only giving it to people who will not use it to further their own agenda. Know that there are genuine people out there who will not exploit your empathy and will be grateful for your help. You don't have to push yourself to meet the unreasonable expectations of toxic people. Number 2, it'll always be the INFJ's fault. Because a narcissist can never be wrong, they tend to hold the INFJ accountable for anything and everything. Whether you're a so-called friend or lover, you may be held responsible for their car accident even if you were a passenger at the time. They might chastise you because it's raining today and you didn't tell them to bring an umbrella. A malignant narcissist will get away with hurting you and destroying your self-esteem. Saying hurtful things to you or discarding you is standard procedure. Number 1. To thrive, INFJs require harmony in their relationship. Since INFJs avoid conflict whenever possible, they may feel as if they are walking on eggshells around a toxic partner. Because of the effects of trauma, any survivor of abuse, whether emotional or physical, may be prone to doing this. To keep the peace, INFJs may even be more prone to rationalizing, denying, and minimizing their abuser's behavior. Narcissists may mislead the INFJ into believing that any mistreatment is all in their head, when their sensitivity is actually alerting them to unhealthy behavior or even danger. Abusive partners, family members, or friends may accuse the victimized INFJ of being oversensitive. INFJs are highly sensitive, but they can also think critically and recognize when their boundaries have been crossed. If the INFJ does speak up, they may feel compelled to apologize for what they've said. The problem is that when you apologize to a toxic person who constantly hurts you, Regardless of any lengthy discussions about their behavior, you ignore your inner voice telling you that this relationship is not healthy. You become aware that you are not the sensitive one. They are, in fact, the insensitive ones, despite the fact that toxic people can have very sensitive egos and may rage if they do not get what they want. A narcissist is someone who has such a high sense of self-importance that they never believe they can be wrong about anything. A narcissist's constant need for attention and admiration is also a red flag. Narcissists are known for having a severe lack of empathy, making it difficult to have a genuine relationship with them. Worse, a narcissist can frequently hide in plain sight. People think they're charming and quirky, and they have a lot of friends. When they're challenged, however, they can become dangerous and feel the need to retaliate against the person they believe has wronged them. A narcissist will take selfishness or thoughtlessness to an extreme. A vulnerable narcissist may be anxious all the time and require a lot of attention. This type of narcissist is always preoccupied with their own problems and never stops to consider the problems of others. Although irritating, this type of narcissist is unlikely to be harmful to anyone other than himself or herself. A malignant narcissist suffers from anxiety and, of course, requires constant attention. A malignant narcissist, on the other hand, will frequently lash out, sometimes dangerously, if they feel slighted. They're incapable of handling criticism and will harm others without remorse. How INFJs can defend against narcissists. How can you keep yourself from getting involved with a narcissist? One approach is to remain true to yourself and your expectations for a successful relationship. Don't expect everyone who appears to be the ideal friend or partner to be exactly that. One of the most difficult challenges for INFJs is learning to value ourselves and our instincts above the appearance of the ideal in order to achieve the real thing. When it comes to romance, compassionate love often develops slowly. A sudden spark of chemistry doesn't always represent the genuineness of a long-term romance. Allow the relationship time to develop before putting your heart all in. Examine how the other person behaves in a variety of situations and environments. For example, how do they treat the restaurant server? What about their mother? Or your friends? Early on, look for red flags and signs that you're in the right relationship. How INFJs can break free from toxic people. If you have a narcissist in your life, it may seem impossible to get out of the relationship. However, there's good news. INFJs can use their fiery spirits to combat a toxic situation. INFJs are also driven to put an end to injustice, to the point of removing anyone who exhibits toxic behavior from their lives. If INFJs are willing to confront conflict head-on, they can use their stubbornness to their advantage when breaking ties with narcissists. Only then will they be able to live the healthy lives they deserve. The issue with toxic people isn't the INFJ's sensitivity or willingness to call out mistreatment. Instead, an INFJ's sensitivity allows them to feel on a deep intuitive level when someone is toxic or even a malignant narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath. Your sensitivity can serve as an intuitive warning system for toxicity. While it's important to take a step back and observe your reaction to someone, keep in mind that as an INFJ, you also have a strong connection to your intuition. You may also be more sensitive to toxic vibes than other personality types. So what does all this mean? As an INFJ, you can trust your inner voice because it can be your best friend and source of salvation in difficult situations. You don't have to be a constant fixer as a healer to make a difference in the world. Don't dismiss your sensitivity as paranoia as a sensitive being when it's actually one of your most powerful intuitive tools. And as a highly empathic individual, you can still be compassionate to others from afar. You don't have to put up with toxicity, mistreatment, or abuse from others just to keep the peace. Holding others accountable for healing themselves is the most loving, empathic thing you can do for others, yourself, and the world. What are your thoughts on the matter? Have you ever seen an INFJ? Comment below. As always, like and share this video, and subscribe to our channel for more updates on psychology.